Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another election prediction video. This time we are doing a Biden v. Trump matchup in the month of February 2024. So a lot of new polls have came out. It changed a few of my state ratings. And we're just going to start off with the safer states. And before we start even this, talking to this video, if you aren't subscribed to the channel already, highly recommend doing so. And leave a comment down below what you think of this video at the end of this video. Do you think I got some states wrong? Just let me know. Always interested in hearing your guys' feedback. Okay, so let me just continue filling in the safe states. I consider a state that's safe like above 10% for either party. So that's pretty much my ratings for that. So some people's have different ratings, like it's over 15 as safe. I just have it over 10. Okay. So starting off, obviously Colorado, I think it's a safe blue state. Some polls have shown it into the likely blue column. I don't see it going that way. Still think it's going to keep on trending Democratic, the state of Colorado. Those undecideds are going to go towards Biden no matter what there in Colorado. Really isn't going to shake anything up. In the state of Iowa, it's still a safe red state. I still think Trump's going to win here by like 11 points or so. And we could just take a look at the polling here because in most polls, Biden's not doing so good in the state of Iowa. He's in like the high 30s, low 40s range. But again, I just don't think it's going to happen. Seltzer, that poll even had Trump up by 11 here. So I think he pretty much is going to win here by 11 points in the state of Iowa. Moving on to the state of Ohio, a lot of polls have came out here just showing Trump consistently leading in the double digits. There's some that have him into the likely R column, but again, just based on how Biden is pretty much not even investing into the state to try to make it competitive. He's only investing in 7 swing states, by the way: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, like $250 million. So we're probably going to see some shifts there that are favorable to Biden because he's finally putting a lot of money into these swing states. He's pretty much ridden off Ohio and Florida at this point, and Iowa. So those are states he's pretty much just gave up on. I mean, I know Biden did say he thinks he could win Florida. He's probably just bluffing there. They get donors from the state to give money to him because overall he's not investing in the state. So in Ohio, it's a safe Republican state at this point. I think Trump's probably going to win here by about 10 percentage points. It's just trending super fast to the Republican Party. It's just going to keep going that way, and Biden's just not going to really contest it that much. In the state of Florida, it just keeps getting worse for the Democrats every month in this state. It's just the party registrations keep getting more and more Republican. So this state's pretty much become the Republican version of New York at this point. So it's just a likely R state. It could even go to safe Republican possibly in the 2024 election. I wouldn't be shocked if it does. But for now, I'm keeping it as an 8% Trump victory in the state of Florida. It could even get to 9 or 10. In the state of Texas, I also think this is a likely Republican state. I think Trump will probably repeat the same performance he had in 2020 in this state, probably winning it by about 6 in the state of Texas. In New Mexico and Virginia, I still think these are likely Democratic states. I don't think Trump's going to do well here. And I still think the Democratic base will still come out for Biden, but it's a weaker win from the 10-point victories they had in both those states last time. This time around, he's only winning by 7 or 8 against Trump. So part of the reason is he is doing worse in the popular vote. Trump's beating him in a lot of these polls. So in the state of Alaska, this is one state that's weird. They have ranked choice voting. So I actually think Trump's not going to win here by over 10 because of ranked choice voting. It's going to keep that margin below that number. In the state of Maine, they also have ranked choice voting in the state, and in Maine second. So I think this will be about likely blue, while Maine second is likely red. Okay. In Nebraska second, I think this is still a lean blue district, but it's more competitive than it was last time around. In the state of New Hampshire, we probably might see that New Hampshire could potentially be more blue than Maine. Most polls here still have Biden up here by a likely blue margin, so Biden's coalition's pretty much holding in the state of New Hampshire. So nearly every poll has him up here by a pretty good margin on Donald Trump, so I think he's got New Hampshire in the bag. Doesn't really have to worry about it as much as other states, which is why he's not investing as much into it. So I have New Hampshire as a likely blue state. I think it's going to hold on here. Biden's real concern is definitely in the states of Michigan and Georgia, but we're not getting onto those yet. In the state of North Carolina, I know a lot of polls have Trump up here by likely Republican margin. Same with Georgia. He's not going to win by 8 points in either of these two states. They're both going to be within a lean margin. Uh, I'm not seeing them going likely Republican here. Donald Trump isn't super amazingly popular with independent voters. Neither is Biden, but Trump's not going to have landslide victories in both of these states. It's probably going to be a lean Republican margin in North Carolina. And in Georgia, it's also probably going to be lean Republican for now. Biden could still catch up in Georgia. North Carolina, it's looking like it's going to go against Biden here. Unless something crazy happens to Trump or he goes to jail, then I could see it going back to blue. But I kind of just have that doubt about North Carolina going blue again. In Georgia, however, there's still that chance that African American voters turn out very hard in this state and they flip the state back to blue. But for now, it's looking like Trump has quite the lead. We could check the polling here. He's up by like a likely Republican margin, like I said. Nearly every poll has him up here. I think he wins the state by about 2. He's not going to win by 8. I really doubt that. So, I just don't think that's going to happen. So, in Nevada and Arizona, I know the polls have Trump up here by like a likely Republican margin in Nevada, a lean Republican margin in Arizona. Again, Nevada polls, I just want to point this out. In 2022, Nevada polls underestimated Democrats by quite a bit. And in some of these most recent polls, Trump's only up by like 2, 4. That's within the margin of error. These undecideds here, they typically break for the Democrats in the state of Nevada. They typically stick with the incumbents. So, again, take Nevada polls at your own risk, but I always think they underestimate Democrats, and typically there's always a bit of a underestimation of them in this state just with the polling. So, honestly, Trump's margin's not even in the likely column anymore in Nevada. It's more like a lean. And I really think the Democrats are going to hold on to this state. Usually the polls here just are always off for them. So I think they're actually going to hold on here. I think they'll have a bit of a turnout advantage. And in the state of Arizona, we can't underestimate the impact of moderate Republicans here, McCain Republicans, going against Donald Trump again in this state. So, the McCain Republicans are pretty much these others/undecided voters. I still think they're probably going to go to the Democrats in the end of the day. They're going to realize that they highly dislike Donald Trump, and they're probably just going to end up going to Joe Biden again. And it is within the margin of error here. Polls in Arizona kind of missed Democrat support in 2022. And that state is trending more and more Democratic every year, and Maricopa County is probably going back to the Democrats, and that's the biggest county we could take back to 2020. That's the county right in the middle here. That's a highly Democratic county at this point. It just keeps trending blue and blue and blue. I think Democrats are probably going to win it again, and I think Arizona, like Nevada, is one state where the Democrats are underestimated in, and I think they're actually going to manage to barely hold on here against Donald Trump. In the state of Minnesota, their gold standard poll actually has this within the margin of error, but I still think it's a lean blue state. Biden's up here by about 3 points. And I do think the Rust Belt is one area Biden's definitely struggling in. We're seeing a likely blue state go down to lean blue. In the state of Michigan, nearly every poll here has Trump up by a pretty decent margin, except for one pollster that isn't really the best, Target Insight. But most other polls have Trump up here by a pretty decent margin, I would say. There's a lot of undecideds that could probably go to him, which is why I'm only putting this as a tilt Republican state. So Biden still actually has a chance at winning. I know it's a weird-looking map so far. If we head to Pennsylvania, there's been a lot of encouraging signs for Joe Biden in this state. He actually has regained a bit of his lead here. He probably leads in the polling average at this point. The big three did a polling of this race. The Quinnipiac, Susquehanna Polling and Research, Franklin and Marshall, very big Pennsylvania pollsters who typically do well in polling this state. Right now, I think Biden actually has the advantage in Pennsylvania. His coalition's still holding strong. RFK Jr., it looks like he actually hurts Trump more in the state of Pennsylvania than he hurts Biden, like in some other states. Again, I think Biden has a narrow advantage in the state of Pennsylvania at this point. Even with Trump leading the popular vote, we could see a scenario where Trump wins the popular vote but loses the Electoral College, which is crazy that I'm even saying that, but it might actually happen just based off what we're seeing going down in Pennsylvania and how Nevada and Arizona polls kind of underestimate Democrats time in and time and again, especially Nevada. So, how can Biden catch up here? All he has to do is either win Wisconsin and he wins, or win Michigan. And right now, it looks like Michigan's looking like the more Republican state out of Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, out of that trio. And the latest Wisconsin poll had it as a tied race, according to that Fox News poll. So, again, I still think Trump has a narrow advantage in this state. I still think Trump's the favorite if the election were held today. That's, mind you, the key word there. If the election were held today, Trump would win. However, Biden's starting to make gains in states like Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Arizona. I think, like I said before, underestimate Democrats. All it would take is Biden to win in Wisconsin or Michigan, and it's looking like he could possibly pull that off. And even though Trump's up in the popular vote, that doesn't mean anything for the Electoral College, by the way. So, elections don't always stay stagnant. The Electoral College doesn't always favor one party over the other, typically in history. Like in the 2004 election, John Kerry, he could have won Ohio without winning the popular vote, and he would have won the Electoral College. I'm pretty sure in 2008, if you like scale the states according back to popular vote, so even if McCain won the popular vote, Obama still would have won if you shift all those states around. So, yeah, again, the Electoral College doesn't always favor the Republicans. There's points in history, in recent history, that actually favored Democrats. So we could see that shift happen again, which I think would honestly be a really interesting scenario. But this is so far, I think, how the election's going. Still think Trump's slightly favored to win. However, Biden's making a lot of gains, and maybe Trump's support really is peaking in the popular vote and the Electoral College. I mean, before he was winning the polls like nearly every swing state, and now he's starting to fall behind, like with the gold standard of Pennsylvania polling. Those pollsters all Biden up in the state. So, states to keep an eye on, definitely Michigan, and definitely Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Just watch those three. I think those are the most important states to watch here. They usually vote together, but in a close election like this, they'll probably vote a bit apart. But that's currently my take on the 2024 election with Biden v. Trump. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.